Hello and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses in New York, or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. So I had a question from a person that was asking about how do you manage your personal safety when you go to visit the houses. This is a topic that I don't think of because I'm a pretty big guy. I'm 6'1" and over 200 pounds, and I really am not afraid of anybody or anything. But if you are a small woman, I understand why you might be concerned. So the way to manage your safety on these things, there's a few ways. First of all, you can go with somebody. That's the easiest way. Go with somebody, and I think two people, you're much safer. But also, you got to make sure that you're dealing with real people. So let me tell you something. I have been duped, screwed over on several occasions, right? My leads manager called, and it was some kid who sent me to another house. People weren't there, or I got to the house and I'm like, is John here? And she's like, John's 14. That happens sometimes. So you have to, that's going to happen, right? That's not a personal safety issue, but I'm saying you have to be careful when you're reaching out to people that they are real people. So I wouldn't enter the house until someone seemed like they were for real there. But again, if you're really concerned about your safety, I would say go with somebody every single time. Right, go with a man, maybe a man with a gun. That might be good. But to me, and I don't want to belittle the questioner or the question. To me, that's just one more thing that you can check off as to why you shouldn't do this business. I get contacted by people all the time about, oh, I heard the market's going to crash, so I'm not getting into the business. Oh, I heard that it's going to be made illegal, so I'm not getting into business. I heard that it's too hard. I heard that there's too many people. There's too much competition. There's not enough competition. There are 10 billion excuses not to do this, right? So if you want to say personal safety is an issue, then that's just one more excuse to chalk up for not moving forward with the business. There's tons of people who are not right for this business. But I personally never heard, I know many women that are in this business that go on live appointments. I've never heard of a story of any of them getting hurt. Doesn't mean you won't. But I think that it's something that if you talk to enough sellers, you're going to start realizing what a real seller sounds like, what somebody who's full of crap sounds like, and you can get a feel for when you get to that front door and they open the door, if this is somebody that's going to be honest with you, or somebody who is going to possibly chop off your head and eat your liver like Hannibal Lecter. So you have to be safe. If you're concerned about your safety, I would say go with a man on every appointment in the beginning, until you feel comfortable knowing the difference between a seller and a fake seller. But it's probably, if that's really your concern, maybe something happened to you, and then I understand. But like I said, there are 10,000 reasons not to do any business, right? There was a period in my life where I was looking to buy a business, and inevitably, if I asked people in that same type of business about the business, they always told me what was wrong with it. And if you just ask people about a business, they're going to tell you what's wrong with it, right? Very few people are going to say to you, that's a great business, about almost any business. So there are tons of reasons not to get into this business, and there are tons of reasons not to get into any business. I don't think that safety. So again, I'm not a good arbiter of this, because I'm not afraid. I've gone on this channel and told you about situations where I had squatters. The way I deal with squatters is the same way I recommend anybody deal with squatters, which is take a baseball bat and start breaking things and acting like a psychopath. To completely get off topic, I'll get on topic of squatters. Maybe I should do another video on squatters. But the problem with squatters today, right, and just define a squatter, is somebody who moves into one of your houses and had no rights to be there at all. The problem with squatters is they're very sophisticated and they're smart. And what they do is they make up a fake lease. So if you handle things the way a normal, sane, rational person would handle them, you'll call the police and ask them to get these people out of here. But if they pull out a lease, the police are completely powerless to get them out of your house. Now, sometimes you'll call the police and they'll just run away. That happens sometimes. But I have dealt with, the last few squatters I've dealt with have been sophisticated squatters, so they came up with a lease. Now, I'm able to completely destroy the lease. So I'll just give you the last story I had with squatters. So I had a house in Elmont. I was waiting to sell. It was in contract to sell. I had completely staged it, so it had beds, it had furniture, and I went by there probably once every few days. So the squatters were only in there for a couple of days. But I went down one night and the lights were on, so I knew people were in there. So I went the next day early with a baseball bat and knock on the door, ring the doorbell like a madman, like a psychopath really. And this guy answers the door and I'm like, okay, get the fuck out of my house. And the guy was like, well, I'm renting it. And I go, from who? And he pulls out this thing, he goes, from John. So the immediate response has to be, who's John? Give me his phone number, I want to call him right now. And their answer is going to be, well, I don't know, I don't have his number. So that's where it falls apart. So then I go, who are you going to call if something broke? Who are you going to call if the electricity went out? I go, you're certainly not paying electricity bills. I know, because I am. And then their whole story falls apart. But if I would have gone there with the police officer and he would have showed that lease, and I know this from experience, the police officer says, this is out of my hand, you got to take it up with the courts. And then they have all the rights at that point. So you do not want to allow them to exercise their rights as possibly legal occupants. So I act like a psychopath. I was my staging furniture. I took my baseball bat and I smashed a lamp. I smashed a hole in the wall that I had to fix later, and a lamp that I had paid for. And I said, the next thing I'm breaking is your head. And there was another guy there, and they both left, and that was it. And that's the only, as stupid and as crazy and as insane as that sounds, in my opinion, it's the only way to deal with squatters, because unfortunately, if you get the authorities involved, they are protected. So coming to you as someone who acts like a psychopath and starts breaking things with a bat and threatening to kill people, you can understand that I am not afraid of going on seller appointments. So if you are someone that is afraid, I would recommend wholeheartedly that you take someone with you that will make you feel safe until you get more comfortable with the situation. But the concept, to me, I've never, ever once in my life thought about getting jumped at a seller appointment, ever. Now, that might be a combination of me feeling that I know what a real seller sounds like, and if something's off, and I've spoken to people and something sounded off, and I said something's off, not that I thought the guy was gonna kill me, but something was wrong, and I've canceled appointments just because I didn't get a good feeling about it. So if you do this long enough, you can get that same feeling where you'll know when somebody's good or somebody's not, or something's wrong. I've never had anybody ask me about that as an issue. And I understand that if you've had a bad experience, I mean, there are stories of real estate agents who have had bad situations, right? They've scheduled a showing, and some nut job, killed them or abducted them or, I don't know, beat them up, all kinds of crazy things. It is possible. We live in a crazy world today, and there are a lot of nut jobs. But I've never even thought about it from my perspective. But again, I'm not an average person when it comes to these things. I don't really worry about these things. But I think that in general, if you're worried about something when you get into this business, it's going to end up causing you not to get into the business, and it's probably something that doesn't need to be worried about. And I think safety is another issue that probably doesn't need to be worried about. But again, if something did happen to you specifically and you've been scarred from that, I understand it. Now, well, yeah, that was the topic. I know I digressed and got off the topic. Okay, so a couple of things. If you are interested in the various ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're interested in my course to teach how to do this, go to howtoflipnewyorkcourse.com. I'm trying not to get into an accident. And if you're interested in coaching, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're watching on YouTube, I beg of you to please subscribe. And if you are watching on any platform, please click like. The likes really help my SEO, my search engine optimization, which lets more people see this and allows me to continue to give you, to bare my soul and give you continued information for free about how this works in New York. I think I'm still the only person that actually teaches this in New York, besides a couple from Albany area. And I give away a ton for free on this channel. So keep liking my videos so that I can continue to do that. And what else? Oh, and keep the comments coming. So this came from a recent comment. I try to get to all my comments as quickly as I can. If it's a simple answer, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's a topic that maybe I've covered in detail, I'll send you links to a video or multiple videos. And if it's a topic that I haven't covered in a while, this is something I've never covered before, never even thought about it, to be honest with you. If it's something I haven't covered in a while, then I'll do a video on the topic. So please keep the comments coming. I really appreciate everybody who watches me, and I appreciate all of the comments that I've gotten. So thank